over to WeiboGaming, and he brings us to a 3-game series up against WeiboGaming. But this time the ban's very different. The Ash and Varus has been swapped around, where IG is on blue this time.
Okay, so we changed things up. Varus, at least both banned away. That already makes things a little bit more interesting. The Ash, of course, taken again, but this time around, Kitty, Zeri, Lucian, one of them is going to be left open, if not both. Yep, both.
The Lucian, Zeri, Yuumi, Nami combo coming out for this game too, but lie on this Lucian, I mean, he is such a perfect aggressive ADC. I'm not going to be surprised if he takes over before and can get to that late game where he pops up in those team fights. The Vi, as a response into the Zeri, very natural counter, but like you've been saying, it really depends on what Gideon plays for this game, because we saw him picking the Gragas from last game, but it didn't do too much. I mean, this time he is going to lock in the Wukong, but overall, I think I do prefer the Vi over Wukong.
It's sad we don't get Fearless in the LPL, because then the Elise wouldn't have been bad, would ban one of the 80 carries, and 13.1 wouldn't be predictable. Kitty, Yuumi, Zeri, sorry, or Lulu, whatever, same thing. There's Lucian. Okay, talk me through the rest of the draft.
Oh wow, guys, top lane and mid are still unpicked, so let's start banning them.
Wow.
Fiora has already been taken
Really?
off. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if WeiboGaming decides to focus down WeiboGaming on his entire champion pool. Jax, Camille, all very proficient on these two as well. I mean, Reader saw from his previous game on that Cassandra, he wasn't doing too much, so I'm sure the Shy is more than happy to opt into a matchup like that again. But I want to see more from WeiboGaming, because you have the Zeri Lulu this time. They're going to play relatively safe. I mean, it depends on how the 2v2 early game goes, but if WeiboGaming is able to play through the side lane pressure and get towards that late game, well, I think IG, their entire team identity revolves around WeiboGaming.
Yeah, it really does. Again, setting him up for success. Like you talked about it, I think we were casting another IG game where we talked a lot about Dove and WeiboGaming supplementing each other, and IG then supplementing topside from that too. So we'll see what comes up topside. No Cassandra though, guys. No Fiora, no Jax. Okay, the Shy wants to pick Nah here, Kitty. But IG should ban Nah, and then the Shy will play Sion. Wait for it.
And then WeiboGaming's gonna pick Cho'Gath. Oh, the Sion gets taken
Sion
off.
ban.
But that does
Nah.
mean Nar is gonna get picked for WeiboGaming. I mean, you know, the Shy had an amazing performance on this Nar. I wouldn't be surprised if they opt into it again. It does pair extremely well with the amount of mobility that Weibo has for this game too. But it really depends on who gets the counter pick when it comes to these solo laners. I mean, the Syndra gets locked in blind. And Dove, I think his Yone is pretty goddamn good. He should play more towards these aggressive mid-jungle duos to get the early game ahead. And Kali fits that perfectly.
Lane might be hard, but yeah, look, play towards side lanes, get to level 6. And Dove will be impactful then. Kitty, tell me what WeiboGaming's going to play though, because right now you don't have a safe blind top, and the Shy has counter pick.
The Shy has counter pick. I mean, just something that you know you're going to win. Or surely just give us the Camille. Just ego it, pick the Camille, a skill matchup in that top lane. Give us what the fans have been praying for. He cracks his neck. He's thinking about it. Hysterics, he's thinking about it.
He looks scared. It's like Malfoy versus Harry in the Chamber of Secrets. Oh, do it. Do it. Scared Potter?
Yes!
You wish. What a lad. Okay. Now the Shy's like, dude, I'm just going to pick Renekton. One of his favorite champions.
The Renekton. I mean, the Shy is always going to be getting this counter pick, so he's going to just pick the Renekton, lock that in, and this is going to be a skill matchup in that top lane. Jungle 2v2 is going to matter so much, because this bottom lane, we already know how it's going to go. We've seen it for 6 weeks on end. Very sleeper, but WeiboGaming for this game too, Camille gets locked in, and the amount of side lane pressure that IG has this time around, it's looking a lot better.
Okay, but for Weibo, Kitty, talk to me through some of the early lanes, because they look hard.
I mean, we do have Xiaohu on his iconic Syndra pick. This champion just brought the entire Weibo crew together when they were up against JDG. I mean, just so many clutch CC moments from Xiaohu. He pilots his champion perfectly. But alongside Light on this solution, I mean, that is his most played out of this split so far. And Crisp, I think he is one of the best Namis I've seen in LPL. I'm a Nami one-trick. I recognize a good Nami when I see one. And his bubbles paired alongside Karsa for these team fights are beautiful. And I just think you don't want to be giving Light and Crisp Lucian Nami.
Yeah, it's a lane I think they know how to pilot well. Again, we've seen Lucian Nami's fail in the Zeri Yumi or Zeri Lulu matchup, but Light and Crisp are consistently potent with it. As we saw Light with the pentakill in game number 1, we're going to see what he can do with one of his favorites in game 2. Do IG have enough in the tank? Can they make it to late game? Can they get past this laning phase? Or will WeiboGaming tear them apart? We're going to find out as we go into Summoner's Rift. And we see if Weibo can fix themselves from their TT loss earlier in week 5. If they can move to 5 wins, get up there with JDG and EDG, and show us they're still worthy to be called a top 5, top 4 team in the LPL. You guys have been waiting for this. You've been waiting for YSKM versus the Shy as well. And finally, we get a potent matchup, but YSKM, best of luck.
Gyros are so loud in the arena of Shanghai. This matchup is just, we've been waiting for it the entire night. YSKM on this Camille blinds it, and the Shy responds with his Renekton. I mean, Gideon, you already have a way. You just walk top lane and help YSKM while An and Wink just pray to get out of lane deathless.
I remember being in Hongqiao Arena. I remember watching Top Esports JG before it was cool. Back in 2019, sitting in the arena. It's infectious. It's great on games like this where there's a huge fan base in China growing for IG. And ever since they debuted, this team has just had fans coming out by the hundreds. Weibo, the same as well, being a top tier team in the LPL. Xiao give it a boost to lane, while Kasa, she's going to be starting on this blue buff. A solo start here as well for the jungle, while same can be said of Gideon down towards his own Raptors, actually not red, while Dove gets a bit of vision control up on that Raptor side camp. Shahu already spotting him out with a defensive ward of their own.
Karth is definitely going to have a better time when it comes to these early skirmishes because we have Xiaohu on the Cinder up against Dove's Akali. So Xiaohu just going to be consistently pushing in this Akali for this early game. But of course, Lucian and Nami, their weakness is at level 1. If An and Wink are able to get their poke down before Karsa comes to this ball lane, the 3v3 is looking a little bit shaky for Weibo. But is that really where they fall for this game too?
It's going to be a dangerous lane once that 6 comes up. First item as well, we know. As even mid, right, Kitty? Like, we know there's multiple lanes for IG that are going to be pretty dangerous here. Is Xiaohu just getting some good range trades again.
Lord.
Xiaohu's been trading so well. Game 1, it was the same. Dove got bullied out in a range versus melee matchup, and Dove has to play the same again.
Exactly. And we do have Karsa and Gideon both pathing towards this top lane. The ward has been placed in that tri-bush from YSK, from the Shy. But it really depends on who gets the top lane first. I mean, summoners are still available, but it really depends on execution.
Karsa's going to get invaded on here, though. I'm sure of it at some point. I know Gideon in game 1, it was a quiet time for him. Gideon has been one of our most aggressive junglers. Him and Hung love invading. Gideon here in the Wukong as he gets his clear off and sets up for Wolves later on. There might be a chance we keep an eye on him moving into Karsa's jungle here against this Vi. Especially if they want to go towards this top side. Pings are coming down.
Didn't get
Karsa's
spotted?
moving up towards top.
No,
He will on this ward at the very least.
Will there be a 2v2 for this Skeletal Crab though? However, we do have YSKM's wave pushing in the Shy. He is going to dip out, but bringing it back to the top lane matchup, I mean, whoever dies first and gets the ball rolling, the bleeding is going to be so immense for whoever gets that lead into the early game, where I think Camille later on into game, Renekton isn't going to be able to match him in the side lane. But the question is, how are you going to get to that late game? Because you're up against Lucian and Vi for this early skirmish.
And we know as well, Syndra has to come into that equation too.
Xiaohu, of course.
Yeah, look, he might be ganked now though. Gideon's moving to the side, waiting. Scatherweek, if it comes out onto Dove for a trade. Xiaohu's just dead, but they're not going to wait for it instead. All in, he flushed away. Scatherweek misses. They got him. Gideon helps get Dove first blood.
A bit of surprise from Xiaohu. He didn't expect the Wukong to pop out of the bush, although we did see the Wukong spotted for that top lane scuttle. Xiaohu was hovering towards that bottom side, but he just didn't expect the damage from Gideon, and of course the E was also missed from Xiaohu. Really poor, it was kind of just poor mechanics when it came to this gank. We saw that Xiaohu just used all his spells onto the minions, so he didn't really have anything else other than this E, but Gideon just dodges the E. Or maybe Xiaohu just misses it completely, and the first blood goes into the hands of Dove.
Really nice shuriken flip from Dove, though, to dodge away from the slow of W. First blood into his hands, as you said. Hex Deck Ultimator picked up with the gold as well. So we're getting close to level 6 here, Kitty, and Dove will have somewhat of a bit more kill threat, as Xiaohu has to be careful because CS is now even as well. Mid's going better than expected. And IG actually up 400 gold in this early game. Kitty, a much more workable early game than last time around.
However, Karsa is up at least 3 camps on this Vi. He is going to hit level 6 a lot earlier compared to Gideon, and that's where Weibo's team composition gets potent. Gideon's still trying to look for something, however. Light's wave is pretty bad.
But spotted on the water is good, as here's a response. Cast straight in on top of Gideon. The extended duel not going to be given over as Gideon goes invisible, but he might have to burn a summoner that he doesn't have. He burnt the flash before, and Gideon's punished quick by Weibo as Xiaohu's moving down. Dove now with the ulti flashes on in. First pass already out. Wants to get in over the wall, but it's too late. Weibo burnt not 1, not 2, but 3 summoners with the ignite going down in response for the kill 2 as the other part comes through. Shuriken flip now to Xiaohu, but Karsa's coming in. All that needs to connect is a Vault Breaker, but Dove is too far away.
A little bit of mispositioning from Gideon. I mean, he didn't have any information onto Karsa, where Light and Chris were able to rotate first, and Gideon, without the flash available, just falls as a result of that. And a really good response from Weibo as well, just denying Dove from picking up any kills with a double flash over the wall. And ends up being a 1-for-0 trade going to Weibo. So they do cut the bleeding a little bit by killing Gideon. And Gideon's always been that player.
I was going to say to you, the fact that you're telling me that Gideon's behind, and that from that loss as well, Karsa was able to pick up a kill, up a bit of CS. Things are looking good for Weibo when you consider telling me that this team's going to be very heavy into the early game and very heavy on the skirmishing.
Yeah, most definitely. Karsa looking for his level 6 very, very soon, where although having the flash available on the bottom side of IG, you can't really escape if the CC follow-up is well executed from Karsa. But back onto Gideon, I think he's always been that person who tries to be extremely aggressive in the early game, but he doesn't know his limits, and sometimes it does result in a loss for IG, and that does allow Weibo to come back into the early game.
Yeah, definitely like a play. That's why I said before, I always expect the invade to come through from Gideon. I always expect Gideon to play the aggressive route. We saw in that play, it did punish him, as our observer loves some nice CS under the turret that WeiboGaming picks up. As Dominus was using the top side by the Shine. Meanwhile, Gold is dead even pretty much. Bot lane with a 10 CS lead. WeiboGaming down 10, so it balances out there between lanes. As Herald's going to now spawn, Dragon's up as well, and for the first time in a while, this is a very late Dragon look at, with both being up simultaneously.
Both TBs have been used to catch the top lane wave for these two players, but not a lot of explosiveness. I mean, from the Camille, there is a... Okay, I got a bit scared. WeiboGaming on this Camille, I mean, you do want to comfortably scale into that late game, because you get to a point where items come online and the Shy can no longer duel you unless you get some help from the jungler. But this Herald is getting started from the side of IG.
Well, they're going to start it, but the thing is Karsa going to be able to interrupt it because he's got level 6 and he's looking for a rotation. Dove spotted going across the control ward. The bottom lane not moving though, and that's for both teams. But as Gideon continues to do this, it's getting a bit dicey. Xiaohu with ultimate available, and his flash is there too as Dove goes to the all-in. The Shuriken flip hits immediately onto Karsa as he gets away. Dove landing everything perfectly so far. Flash away, knives go down, and Dove's hit everything but just needs one more. Now he has to get out of there as Xiaohu slows him down. Karsa may survive, but that could help things with the Herald still being thought about.
Really good negating power from Xiaohu. I mean, he just completely stopped the follow-up for that execution onto Karsa, but Gideon's looking for more as WeiboGaming. The Shy's wave is looking very bad. Doesn't get anything out of that, however. But yeah, back to the Syndra pick. I mean, when you use your E so well in these team fights, the amount of follow-up from IG just disappears. And doesn't end up being a kill for the side of Dove. Although he landed everything, it just doesn't matter.
And they're also concerned about topside. I mean, Renekton kept pushing in. The Shy is unbeatable at this point. Even Gideon being scared about what he can achieve topside, as the Shy is currently level 9 with 97 CS. Yet again, playing the PvE battle. This Renekton comfortable in the lane matchup. And when we talk about YSKM versus the Shy today, we were optimistic. But so far, the Shy has been super solid against his old IG young brethren.
A really good bounce back from the Shy as well. We've seen a bit of rockiness from him in Week 4 and Week 5. A lot of engage in bot lane.
Tidal Wave, Chris not landing, the Aqua Prison either. Chris gets out, now out of the mana bar. He's using rotation. Wing takes damage, but now we've got nothing left. Light knocked up and everything start happening. Unfortunately, the Ultra Shock doesn't connect onto Light, but Arn threatens them away, and Crisp and Light have to think again.
But Gideon is potentially looking for a dive. They just burnt double summoners from Light as well. Weibo is going to back because they smell a monkey very close by, but that duel, I mean, Crisp just missed everything on this Nami. Bit of an unfortunate engage, and IG took advantage of that, poking down Weibo's bot lane and now securing this first dragon in the game at 10 minutes.
So still worthwhile. I mean, late dragon, as you said, but we talk about IG being the scaling team. Later objectives means Elder's not going to come until 30-something minutes if it gets to that. And IG will be confident at that point if the game's not too far gone. So pacing good so far. There might be 1,000 gold behind, but you are seeing that the Zeri Lulu are in a pretty good position in the game.
I mean, YSKM is already down 30 CS, and the Shy hasn't even eaten up this one that's already building. He potentially can freeze this, and YSKM needs his jungler to bail him out, or this lane is looking very hard for YSKM to even walk up into.
Gideon thinking about it. Okay, ulti to come through. Cast still in the escape method. Vault breaker over. Gideon very ambitious. That is Xiao who just gets scat of the week. His ultimate is sitting there, but he will not use it. And I'm surprised that Gideon Kitty decided to press the ulti on a Vi.
Yeah, I mean, if Karsa timed that badly, he could have cancelled his Q, but he did that pretty well. And I mean, Crisp was there to act as a reinforcement, and that resulted in nothing. But looking at the CF differential, hysterics, I can't look top, it's too big.
It is. It's 40 now. The Shy zones off YSKM, goes back to the wave. CS is life, and really solid stuff so far. I think the Shy today is just sick of dying. He does look half asleep. He looks a little bit bored, but honestly, he hasn't really had a challenge so far in this 1v1.
Most definitely, man. All this focus is going towards the bot lane, although Light doesn't have his flash available, so if Gideon decides to counter this, I mean, it could be a winning fight for IG. TP coming out of Xiaohu with this Herald as well. They want to force something here.
You've got yourself 4 members of Weibo down the bottom side of the map. Arn and Wink are about to be in trouble, but their ultis are available with double flash here. Herald, they're going to stay to defend. Arn feeling confident. Wait for that shotgun laser yet again as through the turret he helps with the last piece of the wave. Herald gets the charge in. Everyone's there to receive. But now that it's cleared on out, Arn and Wink can continue staying around and wait for this next wave. So no dive comes through from Weibo, but Kitty, I would have said, oh, it's fine for IG. But look at the other side of the map. They're not really getting anything.
It's not fine. I don't even think if Gideon goes top lane, there is a big chance if the Shy, once the Shy backs and comes back with his Mythic, he's able to 1v2 the top end jungle of IG. I don't want to see that ever happening because I want this to be an even game 2. I'm praying for a game 3 as well, hysterics.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people would be. Just want to see IG give it to Weibo here in this one, but still, again, it's super solid. It's a 30 CS lead topside. It bounces between 30, 40. Mid has still got a lead as well, but Luden's just picked up as well. Gale Force for bot side and a Zeal. A lot of gold actually on Light after the Rift Herald charge. No Mythic yet for Arn as looking across the board. YSKM, Gideon, Dove, all with their first item in the game. So at least stacking up some of the items, but we have just been lulling. We've been chilling. We have been, I don't know, Kitty, not doing too much in this second game. It's just been pretty clinical with a couple of picks here and there and just lane differences showing face.
Yeah, and this is exactly how Game 1 went to the hands of WeiboGaming. They just got leads from laning. They didn't need to do anything. They didn't need to fight, but there's going to be a fight in this mid lane.
And look how deep he goes. Well, with a flash away. Cast is in no man's land, has to get himself out, but over the wall, Gideon just flashed into waiting arms. Casa gets a free kill, and Week's gonna die to the fist of Vibe. As powerful as she is in Arcane, that's about the front of it as Weibo just get 2, and Kitty, this is our game 1. Started off to a roaring success.
Finally IG decides to look for a skirmish, but their response, with 4 members being in this mid lane as On was CSing in that bottom lane, you're just at a numbers disadvantage, especially with the AD carry and mid lane of Weibo having that item advantage. Dove just gets ulted from the side of Karsa here, does flash and tries desperately to get away, but Gideon goes in, doesn't have enough damage to execute anyone because Akali is way too far back and gets one shot from Xiaohu's damage. And Wink going in with the little Lulu, flashing in, ulting Gideon as well. He doesn't have a way out.
Wise camping the Shy like, we're not getting involved in that. They used TPs before and they weren't getting anywhere near close. But they might have to think about this one because Dragon's coming up, 15 seconds. The Shy pushing in top wave, Wise Cam walking directly there, but Kitty, Weibo are now pretty strong. Black Cleaver first for Carson, not something we see with the Chempunk Chainsaw being the usual starter. But if the Shy walks down, which he is, Blade of the Ruined King. This is Big Croc.
Guys, Giga Shy is coming and he's 50 CS up against YSKM.
Do they need him? Well, Gideon's caught again. Corrin died, and now Unleash Power. Gideon's just, yep, Xiao's trying to get it with an auto. Carson's being nice, but eventually he has to take it away. You're in a 5 versus 4, and Kitty, we are once again complimenting Weibo from just taking out what they need.
To Shy, with the amount of lead he has, having that flash available as well, he can look for a pick in this mid lane.
Okay, now Arn in trouble. The flash forward, the Shy not getting anything with his own as Arn tries to skirt it forward onto the Shy, getting a proc movement speed there, but the ulti's going to tick away. Castle's waiting for that Vault Breaker back in, but IG don't give them the chance. And at the very least, Kitty, although they lose the fight, YSKM's going to get a turret, and he needs the goal.
The Shy has decided to join in on the fight, and IG's balling diffused that entire in-game extremely well, not giving any chances, predicted the Crocodile Flash, and On got away scratch-free. Where YSKM, of course, does catch up a little bit in XP and minions, and does open up the map a little bit more, but I'm sure the Shy is more than happy to continue this map stay. He is having a lot of fun.
He's going to even leave the wave. It looks like Frozen for the time being, or rather get Krugs first, and then just move to the wave as YSKM backed away, pick himself up, his Tiamat, while topside is going to start off for the Herald. This is Caster doing this, by the way, so looks like IG are going to miss out on yet another one. As Kitty, it's worth mentioning, Light has his second item now, so that was very quick.
And this was all a result of Karsa dropping that Herald bot lane and Xiao even guaranteeing the goal going into Light's hand as he picks up RC for his second item. The ADC of IG doesn't have any defensive spells. He does have the Barrier and Immortal Shield Bow, but Xiaohu is so fed.
Scatter the weak lands, and someone's dead. He flashes, ulties, all in for Arn. Karsa ults the wrong person, but maybe waiting for a Vault Breaker as he's blocked by Gideon. Karsa just runs it a bit, as now here comes Dove on Xiao, misses the 5-point strike, but one more hit and a smite to do it. Dove helps him out as IG punish Weibo's greediness.
Hysterics, I see a light for IG. I see hope. Karsa going in, ulting the wrong person and dying as a result of that. An just had to burn the Baron, nothing else, and was protected by the jungle in support of IG, while Dove was getting onto the backline of a Weibo, and Xiaohu falls as a result of that as well, getting a tier 1 tower in that bottom lane. But look at this engage from Karsa. Xiaohu just dumps all the damage onto An, but Karsa ults the wrong person. And An lives on 1 HP. And Karsa gets polymorphed here and he can't really get out, he's just dead. But Dove does go into the backline and threaten the carries of Weibo, where they weren't able to follow up with that damage. And really good 2-0 result for IG, where they come back into the game.
See, that's the Weibo I know and love. That's the Weibo I've been watching The one that throws a Hail Mary, but instead it's like a Hail Jeff. Wrong side, wrong direction. Don't know where they're going. The hitbox got bigger thanks to Lulu ulti, but he still hit Wink. So rough times, but still Weibo find themselves in a lead after all that, I should say still as well. 1,000 gold, Dragon coming up in a minute 50. They are still the team that are snowballing this game, Kitty. But a couple more throws like that, a couple more moments where IG find picks. And this Zeri suddenly 3 items. This Akali starts ramping up, Kitty. This side lane gets better for YSKM. All that is a possibility.
Most definitely. I mean, Weibo, they are a super team, but they don't really go into these games without making a few silly mistakes. Dragon is going to be spawning in 1 minute, however, and YSKM, I mean, he has been getting opportunities to come back into the game as he's able to just kill the side lane towers of Weibo, where the map has opened up a lot more. It allows IG to plant down their vision and look for those picks, or potentially even let Weibo make those mistakes again by engaging. Well, Hysterics, it's okay because Karsa got a kill onto An instantly, and Weibo is now starting the Baron at the 20-minute mark. Dove, however, is trying to look for a flank with Gideon. The Shy is joining from the top side. Stun misses from Xiaohu, and the Baron is going to get continued. Gideon still has an angle to flank here, however. Smite available. You're back?
I'm back. I'm back. I don't know.
Take it away.
Maybe IG got rid of my stream. Not happy with the state of this game. The Shy just says, big cake. All right, YSKM, Wink, Dove going in, all in. Can he steal it? Dove knocked to the air. Carter, you need this smite, and he gets it. He's ulted on the back line as light flashes over, meets him there. IG all in for the Hail Jeff, and as the knockup comes through, they're all dead. Gideon trying his heart out, but he's taken down as well. Help Arn. Oh, wait. Zeri does this every day of the week with flash available. Arn, take it, Arn!
He doesn't have to be available. I mean, put a flash go, just flash over. They're all 1 HP, but yeah, the pick onto Arn early on just means the Baron falls from Weibo, and Gideon just never found an angle to sneak his way into the Baron pit, and Karsa secures it with that smite. I mean, without your main damage source in these team fights, they just took the 4v5 happily, trading 1 for 1, but now Baron is in the hands of Weibo, and they're going to fasten up the tempo by so much, where YSKM isn't going to be able to do much in the side lane.
Oh, he hasn't been able to so far, but Prowler's Claw is going to be fun to watch as next Dragon's live and Weibo are on it first. IG, we had so much faith for you, we had so much promise in this team. But it does look like JDG, top esports, hell, even TT at this point, and Weibo are just too much for this team. You know, we're talking about them being a playoff team, which is still fair in some opinion, but they just can't get past this top echelon of the league.
Sometimes life gives you lemons and you have to make lemonade, and that was Arn's angle to flash over and make a quadruple happen. Look at the game save. YSKM barely lives on 1 HP. The Baron minions are swarming towards your base. Dove trying to get something on the other side of the map, but the amount of force, the Shy has flash available.
Dove needs to back. He doesn't have TP. That's a very slow Akali, and everyone's here as Karsa's looking to end it. I mean, the inhibitor's going to go down. Dove, take your time, brother. Like that one person at Macca's ordering so slowly and like, man, none of the machines are available. Please get on with your order. As Weibo now is a 5-man group, they've got Dove back. They don't spot him out, so they're like, okay, he's here. But one Nexus turret is going to go down thanks to the Baron minions. Dove now hitting for an angle, but no flash to get in quickly as Karsa thinking about it too. There, the flash from the Shy. He ain't having none of it. Light takes him out, and straight away in a 5v4 yet again as Hextech Automated takes on the Shy. He'll be taken first as Karsa's up next, and you called it, Arn, as he flashes forward. YSKM! There we go, the most we've seen out of the man as Arn is chasing them up, but his ulti's already been burnt out of the way. Weibo are running for their life, but against the Lulu, look at the speed machine running through. It is the Fast and the Furious bottom lane that gets yet another.
This is the turning point for IG. Their scaling champions are finally coming online. I mean, Arn picking up those kills and YSKM getting a double. They're going to back and they're going to get that third item online ASAP because Dove coming and joining in the fight extremely late, however, does get focused down instantly by the Shy. I mean, he already activated the ult prematurely, and then he flashes onto the assassin of IG. A lot of ultimates committed to this Akali, however, that does mean An is able to free hit throughout this entire fight. I mean, Light is sitting extremely back because he didn't want to commit to this fight, just take the inhibitor and leave, but once Zeri has his ultimate connected, I mean, you can't outrun a Zeri Lulu when they have the Shirelles as well. YSKM getting a double kill lets them come back into the game again.
Again, 4,000 gold lead, but scaling is starting to be a thing. We've almost got a 3-item Zeri in that bottom lane as well as 7,400 damage. Zeri and Lulu. Yeah. Okay. Well, get ready. Buckle in.
The voices, hysterics. The voices, the Zeris.
I can't deal with it. I just can't. I mean, Zeri things are happening. And look, honestly, one more fight like that, that's an Infinity Edge. That's a 3rd item. Oh, well, let's be real. We're not getting IE 3rd as a... IG are getting threatened to their turrets still. Weibo have already lost the Baron, but you can see they're still in charge. Able to split the map. The Shy's just running mid. No one's there. Dove now responding to him. But as they respond to him, IG are just going to lose this turret anyway.
Level 16, the Shy on this Crocodile. I mean, you need at least 2 people from the side of IG to deal with 1 person. But YSKM going to have a relatively awesome time in the side lane. I mean, you are the Camille that just picked up 2 kills. And we've already talked about this win con of how IG has that scaling option as the Camille is going to start drawing a lot of pressure. But Weibo spots this.
As YSKM tries to get his grand escape. The Shy without flash. Wall shot needs to come through like now-ish. Yes, there we go. TP's response. Vault breaker out. Weibo aren't going to overcommit for this one as Dove covers the base. But that's TP now burnt a minute 30 before the Dragon. IG are here early.
Navori picked up for An's 3rd item. I mean, this Zeri is going to be so potent when it comes to the amount of damage she's able to toss out in these team fights. So Karsa, you need to focus down the AD carry of IG, or else the repeat of that inhibitor fight is just going to happen once again as Baron is spawning into 30 seconds.
30 seconds till we fight it out yet again. That 80 carry, that Navori Quickblade's 3rd on both. I mean, we're still 13.1. We don't even get the, you know, the big buff. But then again, we'd probably see it 2nd if we were in 13.3 is Gideon's angle.
Sneaky.
Ooh, sneaky monkey. Okay, spin, monkey, spin. 2nd time around, though, he won't get a chance as Culling helps take him out. Look at Shadow on the side, though. Scout of the week on YSKM and Carster. You absolute beauty. Dove flashes away as the hook shot gets him through, or rather, sure it can flip, but the whole team's dead. Arn's dead. That 80 carry you want to see die, Kitty. Well, Arn is in the graveyard. Dove can't do a thing. He needs to fly to wherever Dove's come from, as IG are going to be obliterated. As Weibo came into this series and said, oh, look, there might be some kind of competition between YSK and the Shy, but this whole series, both games, the Shy has cared not. He's refused to elaborate. And much like WeiboGaming, they have sat on top in their mighty throne. This top 4 team continues to be top tier. And IG have a lot of thinking to do, a lot of work before they can get up to their caliber.
A beautiful 2-0 series closing out for Weibo, and the Shy has finally taught YSKM on why he is the staple of LPL, and his Renekton and Nara, of course, have been just such a pleasure to watch when it comes to laning phase. I believe Casa also ended 7-1 on that Vi, having a huge impact in the early game in these team fights. I mean, just extremely well played from the entirety of Weibo. I know Xiaohu was struggling a little bit, but he did what he had to do.
Again, the Shy having a great series, Cast having a great series. Like, the Shy only dying once, that's not my true the Shy, but it's still, you know, a quality performances. He farmed it out so much in this game, had a really quiet performance, but did what he needed to do. I guess quiet in the regard that he wasn't as bloodthirsty. He didn't 1v3 the game, but he still managed to carry in his own way. But I think we need to give props, Kitty, because light and crisp in this game, and both games were great. I think the standout, though, you know, Casa was today quite brilliant.
Yeah, Carter's form was on tip-top shape for this series up against IG, and that is so important when you go into a Weibo series. I think Carter, he is extremely consistent when he's ahead, but once he's behind, I mean, that is a huge point for Weibo to look into. But this time, I mean, Carter with the Vi and the Elise in these 2 games, although some of the team fights were a little bit for fun, but in the end, these team fights were executed perfectly with how they decided to target the enemy.
Yeah, they were picked perfectly, you know, all apart from the bottom side fight where that went a little bit sketchy going into the enemy base, but set up of the waves, you know, the difference between what we saw in Ultra Prime earlier, trying to close a game, versus Weibo, who are these top tier teams, or this top tier team rather. It was a much different experience. So props again. IG still showing us little glimpses of why they can be a playoff team, but they've got a lot to work towards. I think for IG, their schedule's still reasonable, Kitty. Like, they're now 5-4, but they still have OMG, which is winnable. RA, Ultra Prime, WE, NIP, LNG, BLG. I think these are all winnable. LNG being the hardest of what they have left, but that's what would get them into playoffs where, you know, for Weibo at the moment, like being 5-2, they've got LGD, AL still on the menu. There's a RA in there. There's a WE. Weibo making playoffs. And I think with this win, they might be able to get themselves in the top 4, like just looking at the potentials of the future.
Look, Hysterics, IG is just going through the training arc. You know how in Naruto, Rock Lee throws his weights onto the ground in the Chunin exams? That's what this was, as JDG Top Esports WeiboGaming all out of the way now. So they are going into week 7 as a completely new team from their learnings from these previous weeks. I mean, really see how much of a standout Arn was in these team fights, and just they need to perfect the early game, and that's all they need to become a top contender for the standings.
That's what would make them a top 3, top 4. Again, big props to them. I think this time around, you know, we saw a very, not relaxed, but very controlled Weibo. This was not a team that you look at and go, oh, you know, they're calm, collected. They're like an LNG, where they kind of just play out their scaling, or they play out their comps, slowly but surely win the race. Weibo, they're bloodthirsty, they're explosive. They throw the games up to 50-50 sometimes. That was not it here. It was just so different. And again, it's just a big surprise.
Do you think Chris is going to get MVP for that game too? He had 100% KP on the Nami.
True.
Surely he doesn't steal it away from Casa, right? Because he was 7-1 ending the game. And I don't think I've ever seen a Vi have that many kills.
I think it's got to go to Casa. Let's be real. Casa's game 1 was pretty good. His game 2 was a lot better, and I think well deserved. You know, surprisingly, maybe you give it over to someone like, I'm not sure if you give it to Light. Light had a lot of kill participation. Light had a lot of impact in that game, but still, either way, I think you could kind of throw a stone at Weibo and you'd get a correct answer there, Kitty. At the very least, I will tell you that this team in both those games won in under 30 minutes. It was a less than 1 hour series. Give it to anyone, as Xiao apparently is going to be standing by with Christina for our interview.
Hello there, welcome to Post Game Interview. I'm Christina. We're joined by Xiao Hu, the millionaire for WBG. Congratulations on your 2-0 victory. A lot of people are looking forward to this matchup against IG. So, did you expect a 2-0 victory against Invictus Gaming? 欢迎小虎来到我们的赛后采访。恭喜 WBG 今天2-0快速的拿下了对手。那么这一场对决呢，也是大家比较期待的。可能因为之前 IG 表现也不错，微博现在状态也越来越好了。所以小虎选手有没有预料到是一个2-0获胜？然后你觉得2-0能够拿下他们的最主要原因是什么呢？
其实我们就是微博打比赛的时候，就是赛前调试的时候，大家都会讲，每个人都会讲今天状态怎么样。然后今天5个人都说的状态挺好的，然后就是预料之中吧。
Actually, before the matchup, we will talk about each other to talk about our form and discuss how's it going today. Hey guys, and we 5 players all think that we're in a good form in today's matchup. And second question, I'm curious about that Soraka support in game number 1, and why did you guys pick this champion to suit your whole draft in game number 1? 那么第一局的时候，今天柳青松选手这边选出了一个奶妈，然后来配合整个第一局的阵容。想问一下，第一局拿出索拉卡的契机是什么呢？
因为首先李云松的索拉卡其实是他的绝活英雄嘛，然后索拉卡这个英雄在面对酒桶跟塞拉斯的时候是有一个很好的反手效果的，就是可能酒桶一闪进来放不出大招之类的，对我们就可以借此拿下团战的胜利。
Actually, Soraka is one of the signature champions of Crisp's champion pool, and it's a real good counter pick into the Gragas and Silas. 哎，是索拉卡和酒桶说，酒桶。Sorry about like Gragas and Silas. If Gragas E and engaged, he didn't come fight back, and we can do something to fight it back. It's really a good counter pick into these two champions. And the second question, I'm curious about like game number 2 because I see IG really performs pretty good and show their tenacity when you guys were pushing the waves on Bali after you secured the barriers. So how did you guys fight back and turn the tide to secure the Game number 3 for you。那么在 Game number 2，sorry， 在第2局的后期，我们可以看到 IG 这边他们也是在你们下路推进的时候展现出了队伍的韧性嘛，也是在有一波反打，所以那波反打之后，微博这边是打算怎么决策的呢？
那波的话是我们太想一波掉对面了吧，然后也是给了对面的一波反打的机会吧，对。
Actually, that just because maybe we were too hasty and we want to close the game from that one team fight, but maybe that's an opportunity for IG and they secured this opportunity to punish us. Final question for you, you are going to play against LNG, who ranks the number 1 in the standings so far. Any expectations, and are you confident of taking down LNG next matchup? 最后一个问题，下一局微博将要对阵到的是目前暂列积分榜第1的 LNG 嘛？有没有信心拿下这局比赛，或者说有什么期待吗？
因为打李宁的话，其实就是对我来说，他们厉害的是李宁的中野嘛，斯高特加他战选手是很厉害的中野组合。然后我觉得只要我跟卡萨能承受住这个压力，并且取得优势的话，我们赢下他们是很简单的。
Actually, I think the most important thing for LNG is just like their mid synergy, and if I and Karsa can perform well and get leads, that we can win LNG easily in next coming matchup. Thank you so much for joining me. 谢谢小虎来到我们赛后采访，跟大家说再见吧。Back to you guys.
And Kitty, nice interview. Talking about LNG versus Weibo, I mean, again, a good read, I think, when they consider